Some furniture flips start with an exciting antique that's full of history or some wildly outdated vintage design that's begging for an update, but this is not one of those. It's a Bombay-style coffee table, probably no more than 20 years old, that I got for free with a big old hole in the top. Just because its glow up isn't going to be particularly dramatic, I don't think that makes it any less worth saving. So today I'm going to repair it and give it a really simple, clean makeover so someone can use it again. This table isn't officially branded Bombay Company, but it's built in the same style with this super dark, almost opaque finish, a really traditional silhouette, and a mix of some real or solid wood elements right alongside the paper-thin decorative veneer work on the top. It's solid, everyday construction, sturdy, and moderately well made, but definitely not a collectible or heirloom piece. It's exactly the kind of furniture that once it's got some sort of damage like this hole carved in the MDF top is ideal for a paint job. I do really love the lines of this piece, especially the fluted apron trim, but the top has got a few minor moisture rings, some surface scuffs, and a bit of glitter glue and Play-Doh stuck to it. But other than that, this should be a pretty quick, maybe even one-day flip. First things first, I'm gonna get this nice thick layer of paint overspray dust, which is totally my fault. This builds up on everything out here in the shop, but I've got to get that off of the bottom shelf and give the whole thing a good wash down with a degreasing cleaner to make sure there is absolutely no pledge residue left behind. Those spray-on kind of furniture polishes that make wood look glossy and clean actually leave behind and build up a pretty sticky silicone-filled residue that will wreak havoc on any new finish if it contaminates the wood, because nothing sticks to silicone, so it's gotta go. I do want to get the Play-Doh and glitter gone too. Up on the bench so I can get at the bottom. Everything underneath looks good. There is a made in China sticker and an item number down here, but no official manufacturer. It's always good to see the furniture that you're working on from this angle too. It's usually easier to see how everything was made and it's all held together. The trim around the top and the legs are solid, but the apron is plywood because that's easier to curve like this, and it's covered with the fluting anyway. And this bottom shelf has a sheet of veneer over both the top and the bottom of probably the same MDF or heavy-duty cardboard that we can see through the hole in the top. These metal caps are nice from a distance, but a bit corroded, and I really don't think I can get them off of here without scratching and denting the hell out of them. So I'm gonna pop these little plastic feet off, one's already missing, and I'll nail some fresh ones on when I'm all done painting. It looks like I'm missing one bolt here too. Luckily, both my husband and I collect all of the random bits of hardware that we come across in our lives, so I bet I can find a replacement in here. Nope. It's too small. Okay, that's the right size thread. It's just way too long. Is slightly too big. Those are all too big too. I clamped this up in my vise and tried to cut it shorter with a hacksaw, but I don't know if the blade is dull or it's not the right blade. But after about 10 minutes of not making any progress with this sawing, I decided just to put this aside and continue on my merry little way. The bolts will wait for now. To fill in this big boo-boo, I am breaking out the Bondo. It's a 2-part epoxy style filler, so you mix up the putty that's in the can with the hardening agent that comes in a separate little tube. And once those two components get mixed together, it starts a chemical reaction that cures it to a rock hard state in about 5 minutes. So you want to only mix up a little bit at a time, and you gotta move fast. I'm choosing this over a traditional filler because it will dry rock hard, but also because the epoxy in it is going to bond really well with the softer MDF fibers and harden the edges of the repair up. Whereas with a regular wood filler, the MDF might just soak up all of the liquid or water-based stuff in that product and leave the filled spot soft and sort of unstable. While that finishes curing, I'm going to get started on sanding the rest of this thing. I've got some 120 grit sandpaper for all the flat surfaces, and then a medium grit foam pad that I can use to go over all of the curvy stuff to smooth out or buff out any of the minor flaws on here, but also scuff up the shiny factory finish so that my primer has a little bit of micro texture to really grab onto. Since I'm going to paint this, I don't need to sand it all the way down through the existing finish, but I will wherever I need to smooth out a scratch or a dent. Now listen, I already know that the wood warriors are gonna say I should refinish this. And honestly, if it didn't have that big hole right in the middle of the top, I probably would. I do have options. I could try to do a new stained finish, break out the paint pens and attempt some serious arts and crafts camouflage, but that repair is still going to be really noticeable, especially sitting right in the middle of all these pretty inlays. And sure, I could order new veneer and redo the entire top panel, but that burl banding and the tiny trim work is definitely above my pay grade. And the truth is, the cost of those materials plus the time it would take me to do it will never add up to the value of this table. It just wouldn't make sense. So painting isn't ruining anything. It's the right material, the right amount of labor, and the right level of investment to keep this piece out of the landfill and give it another life. Paint is really the best option here. I'm going to pick up all the sanding dust with a microfiber rag and lay down some paper on the floor so that I can get this propped up on some old paint cans and prime it. I have a can of almost black paint that I want to use on here, so instead of using my usual bright white bin shellac based primer, I'm going to use a spray can of some plain old clear shellac. This way, if the table ever does get chipped or damaged again, it'll be that darker stained finish underneath and not the stark white primer mark that you'll see through that damage. This is going to seal up the repair that I made so the texture difference isn't visible through the paint, and also give me some extra adhesion power so everything bonds really well. I think I'm going to spray on 2 coats of this. I need to wait until the first layer starts to feel a little bit tacky, which honestly doesn't take very long at all, before I spray on the second layer. And then I'm going to leave this to dry really well for at least a few hours before I move on. I think I might be able to cut through that bolt with my Dremel multi-tool. I'm pretty sure one of these blades is for metal. Man, this thing is so handy. It saws, it scrapes, it grinds, and it even has a tiny sanding pad, which is awesome for super tight furniture spaces. I could probably use this so much more often than I do, but I'm really glad that I have it for stuff like this. I'm going to sand this primer smooth before I flip things upside down again, and I might need to put a little more filler over this repair. Yeah, I can still just barely feel it. So I'm going to put some of this glazing putty over top. This will fill in that super shallow imperfection really nicely, and once it's dry, I'll give it one more sand, probably spray on a little bit more shellac to lock it in, and then I'll be good to go. Okay, upside down one more time. Let's try that bolt. I used this Gallery Series paint from Sherwin-Williams on a dining table and chair set that I did a few weeks ago and absolutely fell in love with it. But it's super expensive, and a gallon is the smallest size that it comes in. I usually just buy quarts for my furniture projects and always have paint left over, so a whole gallon of one color is a major commitment for me. Luckily, my store had this super dark, almost black as a mist tint, and gave me this can for $10. That was a deal I could not pass up. It's a waterborne cabinet paint that's low VOC, so it's not stinky, and basic soap and water cleanup, but it acts like a super tough lacquer. It dries really fast too, which speeds up this whole process for me, but since it does dry so quickly, it's not recommended for brushing or rolling. It is a spray only paint. The white color that I used last time was already a perfect consistency for spraying, so I didn't thin it out at all, but you can add up to 10% water to this if you need to. I put a splash in here. That's my scientific measurement, a splash of water, just because, to see if it makes any difference. I got the settings on my gun dialed in on a scrap here and then sprayed on the first 2 coats while the table was upside down, obviously, so I could get at the bottom, but also so that I had easier access to get all the way around the legs. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the metal foot caps until this point either, but I decided to just send it and paint them the same way as the rest. They do have a really seamless look with the rest of the leg, and I think it's going to be a nicer option than a metallic spray paint on them to cover all the scratches and tarnish. They're not really a nice metal that I could polish up even if I wanted to. Mr. Salvaged is home from work, so he's going to help me flip this one last time so that I don't scuff any fresh paint by attempting to do it by myself. And I'm going to spray on 2 more coats over the top sides with one more light sand and dust off before the last coat goes on, just to make sure everything is super smooth. Like I said at the beginning, not every flip has to be dramatic or dripping in nostalgia to be worth doing. Sometimes it's just about taking something that's a little beat up, maybe a little outdated, and giving it another chapter instead of sending it to the burn pile or landfill. This coffee table came to me with a hole carved out of the top and not much going for it, but a few hours, a little bit of filler, and some quality cabinet paint later, it is sturdy, clean, and ready to be loved again. I'm really happy with how this one turned out, and I'm even happier it's on its way to a new home instead of to the trash. It might not be the most epic furniture makeover here on my channel, but it's exactly the kind of save that makes this work worthwhile. Thank you so much for watching along today, and I'll catch you all next time.